let me show you how to hem jeans with the original hem, or most people call it a Euro hem. These need to be hemmed 3 inches. So I am going to fold up the jeans, measuring from the bottom of my hem to my fold line. That's going to be 1.5 inches, because I'm just going to divide the amount that it needs to be hemmed by 2, and that gives me 1.5 inches. You can see where I am measuring from the bottom of my original hem to my fold, and that is 1.5 inches. I'm going to measure that all the way around, putting pins in it to make sure I keep that consistent 1.5 inch turn fold up. And I'm just going to measure that all the way around, placing my pins so that I won't lose that measurement when I get it to the machine. A lot of customers these days want to keep that original hem, and this is the best method that I have come up with to do that, leaving in the original stitching, also leaving in the worn look from the factory, those dye lines that have faded in. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to use a 3.0 stitch length, using a 14 or above needle, whatever needle your machine calls for. We are just going to stitch as close to that fold, to that original hem, as possible, as close to this stitching as possible. So we're just going to do that all the way around, sewing as close as we can to that original hem. I'm using navy thread, or whatever you want to use, whatever color matches your jeans the best. So you don't have to use the gold color stitching. You really stitch to be invisible when you are done. So go all the way around, removing your pins as you go. And after you get, I'll show you what to cut off, because you want to cut off this extra, because you don't want to leave it too bulky in there. If you're doing this for a child, you might want to leave that extra in there so that they can let it out as they get taller. But most adults don't want this extra in there, so you can go ahead and cut that off. So we are now ready to cut off that extra. So you want to cut off everything except for about 1/2 inch, and then you are going to serge around that, or zigzag if you don't have a serger. So this is just a demonstration of how you cut it. I know that was a big question on my first video of how to do this, is what to cut. So this is what you cut. We're going to cut off everything except leaving just 1/2 inch of that fabric. So when you unfold that cut off part, that's what it looks like. I'm just going to throw that away. And now we are ready to finish off that edge so that it won't ravel. So you can either zigzag it with your sewing machine. So I'm just going to show a little bit of that here, what that would look like if I just did a little zigzag on the edge. I have a serger, so I am actually going to serge it off, but I just wanted to show you that you can just use your zigzag stitch. But I have a serger, so we are just going to take it to the serger and serge as close to that original hem as possible, 1/4 to 1/2 inch inside the pants, so that it can make it less bulky. We'll serge that all the way around, and then we will be ready to put our top stitch on the outside. I like to put a top stitch. It's just going to add an extra security to that extra fabric that we have in there, so that it won't flip out. You don't want it to flip out. We just want to sew right on top of that we have, not sewing on the original hem, but just right above that where our new fold line is. Use the same color thread. Just going to sew all the way around that one time, and then that's going to give us a nice finished look. Then you want to take it to the ironing board, give it a little press, and then we are all done with this pair of jeans. When you're wearing it, you can't even really see that new line of stitching. It just looks like it has the original hem.